Oh, do you? Okay. I was wondering. I was like, hey, what are you doing?
Hello. What are you doing?
How are you doing? Yes. How are you being?
Awesome. Awesome as well. Is beautiful
Let's be
and
awesome.
timely. Hmm.
I was just saying to Mina that I had read something on Facebook because I had just gone on to connect with, make sure we're on the right call, and I would caught that energy, and that energy of wanting to explain or get that the person didn't quite get what I was saying, and it's like this, and that impact is just like, that's when I just gotta breathe it out and shake it off and go, is that, for me it's like, is that even, does it really even matter, right? Sometimes in the past I would get in a link thinking, well, I'll help them get what I really meant, and then all this time and energy is spent, and still you're going like this and missing each other, and it's like, no, shake it all off.
Shake
Send
it
love.
off. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So many times we choose to be caught by other people's thoughts. Shake it out.
Yeah, and I think that's a good one to just speak about, because whether that's somebody sending you a text message, you could be having a great day, right? And somebody says, oh, you can't believe what's going to happen now, or whatever, and
La, 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 la.
la 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 la. Maybe we have to come up with a la 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 la. That's what we have to do, is go la 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 la.
Yeah, leave drama. I left drama in the past, or at least I try to.
I like romantic comedy.
But it's like that sometimes. Drama wants to be with us, and we can just accept, taste it, or let it go. I tasted enough in the past, so I don't need it anymore. Hmm. So here is my territory, my one only. Hmm. And sometimes some people, some lovely people, loves drama and likes to be with us, because people that likes drama like to be heard and and seen and and read. And I can say, as you can say, no, not now.
Just say no. No, no, no.
It's not my way.
And have you ever had that experience though, that because you see the drama and it's actually funny, right? Like you see the person, almost like a child having a temper tantrum, but they're so wrapped up in the drama, and it seems funny to me, and then I might actually just spontaneously smile or giggle, and then they get even more dramatic because you don't get me.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, I'm just wanting to help snap you out of it.
Yeah, for me, it's not funny, because I tend to, as I am an empathic, I tend to be a bit with the person, so it doesn't have, it's not funny. But of course, as I know myself, I've been learning to dissociate from that because otherwise I will suffer too, and I don't want.
Yeah.
So I send them love. I understand, but usually I don't feel very funny. I feel sorry or pity, which I don't like to. I don't like to feel sorry or pity of the person because it's not a good idea to. They are each person is such a lovely being,
Mhm.
so it's not good to feel pity. To yeah,
Well, it's this for me, I used to do the same thing. I'd want to feel I needed to be in the drama to help solve the drama. And and then I would be almost getting dressed up in the drama and feeling the drama, and only then in the energy of the drama, and usually there's a right and a wrong there and things like that,
yeah,
and getting stronger within myself. I say that it's like being the lighthouse now, because then it's like, yes, you can come and you can drop your drama, right? If you want to drop your drama, or you want to help see it in a new way or see it somewhere, that's, I'm great at the reframe, right? I'll hold that space that there's another possibility. But that took a long time to get to.
that's awesome. It took a long time, but yes, I have to. When I'm, especially when I'm a bit down, I have to create strong boundaries because I am like a sponge. I I don't even when I do not receive drama anymore, or at least rarely I do that. But lots of feelings, the sadness, the I cannot do it, the anything. I have to be careful because I was since I was born, I was very, very, very empathic, and I would feel everything from the other person.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand life. Life taught me that if we really wish to help the other person, it's not by going in the drama, because you lose your mind, you lose your energy, and if you drama with the other person, will you help her? No. So it's better to be away.
Mm-hmm.
She's she and I am me, and we are different persons. I send love, I send joy, I send best energies, the best energies I can. But again, they receive them if they wish to.
Yeah.
Usually, when they are in the drama, they don't wish to receive good energies. They wish to receive someone that stays with them in the drama and that perpetuates the drama, and it's no good for anyone.
And
So dance, dance, dance.
yes, Danton, and I want you to know that, like, you that's listening, that drama is part of the experience, right? So when the differentiation, I feel what we're wanting to explain is, for what's happened for both of us, is from being absorbed like a sponge into the drama, and then having each of us to release it, like squishing out the sponge. We started to realize that if we can honor the drama, we can see it like it's like just an experience, but hold that love and compassion, that that's the experience for the person. And there are as many things that we can empathize with because of the experiences that I've had, Mina's had, Yeah, so to sort of hold the light, it's like having the being in
Yeah,
a dark room and the person's having the drama, and you go, hold on, I got a candle, or I got a flashlight, and I'm gonna hold it so we can see our way out.
yes.
And
I'm here if you need me. I'm here for you. But I don't go in your drama because that will hurt me and will never do good to you.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. We honor you.
Yeah.
We honor your needed drama because if you are there, you need it. Otherwise, you would say no, no, no. We honor that, but respecting you, we send love, but we keep in your in our smile, in our beautiful energy, because if we shine our beautiful energy, you can say, okay, I'm tired of drama and I prefer that. So now I can get help to go there, to the light, to the happiness, to the joy, to health, to truth, whatever you wish.
It's like saying yes, yes, yes to more joy, joy, joy. The, the thought that came to me was my previous husband would say to me when I'd watch a movie, and I would be very much in the drama, and I would be crying when the person was heartbreaking the news, or I would be, oh, don't go behind the door, I was, he'd be like, it's a movie. And I'm like, yeah, but can't you feel it? It's like, I can feel it. And I was so defending my experience with the drama, and he would just look at me like, is there a benefit to you to be feeling all those emotions? And that was when I only thought that was the only choice. That was my only experience, that I could feel it. And I never knew that I could then watch something and just appreciate it without feeling what the characters were feeling or the people around me are feeling. So that's what I say, it's a journey.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but even so, people must be careful because our subconscious mind doesn't differentiate what is truth from what is a movie. So if you are, especially if you are an emotional person, because there are persons that are in the head and and they are not emotional. Yes, there are different kinds of people, but especially if you are an emotional person, your subconscious mind can be receiving all their drama. So some movies I just don't see them at all. I give up, you know. I give up. Once I saw a wonderful movie. It was a wonderful movie about slavery, and the movie was awesome. But I felt so hurt, so hurt, so hurt. It made me very bad for a few days, precisely because I couldn't see that movie. It was too awful for me. It's like if I was there feeling that. And when you are like that, it's better not to see it, even if it is a good movie. But of course, you can be in a different level of energy where you see and you keep yourself in peace and send love to the situation. If you can do that, okay, fine. Many times I cannot do that. So I prefer to send love from far away and don't enter in the scene, even if it's a movie. But of course, people that are very mind grounded, many of them don't understand what I am saying. because they don't feel it at all. They are so rational, they rationalize everything.
Yeah.
Even so, they don't know what happens with their subconscious mind. So be careful.
And I know sometimes when people are so rigid, let's say, or they have like a, almost like a, you know, their story is protected. They're so in their head about what's going on or how it is, and that that's when I felt like the experience of like for instance Brazzo's gaze, that there's never any words, right? It's that eye to eye. And when you have had an experience like that, you realize sometimes even with your spouse, your partner, you realize when you've just stopped and paused and looked into each other's eyes, right? Or look out at nature. There's no rationale, there's no reasoning, there's no logic, there's no common sense. But in those moments, sometimes a new thought of calm or peace or a different perception or an opening of love, something else happens that is different than what you were previously experiencing. It's almost like Tony Robbins. I remember he would tell the story sometimes of, he would, you know, people would pay him countless money, right, to have an individual session with him. And I remember him telling one story that he said someone got into their story, their drama, and he just picked up the water glass where they were eating and he just threw the water at them. And you, right? And people, it's just to snap them out of the story, right? It's that idea that sometimes somebody, you need that snap out. You're so, I've got the science, I've got the background, I've got this. And I always wonder for the people that defend it so furiously, again, and it's defending what they really don't want.
Yeah,
You know?
because when you get caught up in that drama, it's hard to stay, to not to stay. It's hard to leave. So I prefer not to enter, but when I'm there, it's harder to leave. So we have some interaction. We must to have an interruption, yes, like we did. But I prefer not cold water.
No cold water. It won't reach you anyways, Mina.
I have a friend. He's funny. When he learns some other things. His two daughters were fighting each other. It's natural sometimes they fight or something, or a toy, and he used to say, "Don't do that," blah, 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 and they wouldn't listen to him, of course. So we learned to do something funny, something strange, like, and they immediately stopped and looked at him and thought, is he crazy? But they stopped the fight. So he learned to interrupt with playing with some comic thing, funny thing.
And sometimes one of my experiences too is I put on that hat that said, I'm a light worker. I know better than what your experience really is. And it's kind of this, you know, another story, another way to be in a justified space where then if I'm being the light worker in the hat, I can pass judgment on the drama. And the drama sometimes is what that person needs, just like the child with the temper tantrum, right? It's like sometimes I get in the car and I just have to go because it just, something needs to be released, right? It's like here we're moving, we are moving because our bodies have to shake off and get off these things instead of just sitting here talking to each other back and forth, right? You know what's watching, what's best for you.
For a long time. If you can.
I know what's best for me. And it's finding that out, that's where you have your real power. When you discover when I discovered what works for me to keep my joy, that's for me.
Yeah.
Mina does it differently.
Mm-hmm. And we are not saying don't stay in your sadness, don't feel sad or angry or anything. You feel if it is to feel, you feel, please. Just don't stay there a lot of time. Don't stay there for 3 months, please.
Right. Well, there is that science, right, that says if you put your attention to something for longer than 21 seconds, so your attention and the vibe, that's like shooting off that star, right? So that if that's the question, is what you are focused on is possibly creating more of that. Do you want more of that? And if the answer is no, then
Yeah.
then press the stop button faster and faster.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's good to feel it because sometimes it is there. It was there.
Yeah.
And it's coming to surface. So it's good to feel, to acknowledge you have it, to name it, to thank it, and then bye. Yeah. Don't stay there longer if you can, at least.
Oh, and if you're happen to be on social media, for instance, or what, however you want to talk it, and you can feel you're in the stories of somebody's narrative, and it can be more than one person, it can be a whole group of people, and it's still that narrative, and you're in that narrative, and then you start to notice, wow, your hope or possibility or joy has been diminishing. That's your experience. That's your experience to notice the effect on it. Just like Mina was saying before, it's like if you don't want to drown with the person, right? That's why in lifeguarding they teach you to have something between you for them to grab on something to help bring them in. There's something, and that's the idea. We're here to share what we've experienced in the hopes that it will help you discover things within you to bring you closer to your heart's desires, because joy is a healing vibration.
Yes. And we honor you, we respect you. You are a lovely being.
Yeah.
But understand that even if you wish to help someone, you help better if you are clear-minded.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? So if you are drowning with them, it's not, you don't help them. You don't. If you stay up and send them a rope or something, an energy rope, love rope,
Mm-hmm.
you can help them if they wish to be helped. If they really wish to be helped, they will accept the help. Otherwise, you are wasting your time too. So keep that in mind. Because each person, the person you have in front of you, they are a whole being. They don't need help. If we see well, no one needs help because each one of us has all the resources we need. But yes, of course, sometimes we don't know it yet, and we can get some help. Or it's fun to have some help, yes. But that person you wish to help, maybe she doesn't want help. Maybe she doesn't need help. Surely she has everything inside to thrive if she wants. If she wants it, she or he will discover it. Wahaha.
Yeah, everybody has that connection, right? everybody is, from my perspective, a ray like of the sun, right? That everybody has that power within, and that's what's going on in the world. We're all waking up to realizing we're the center of our own universe. So I've been using this example, that our world has been based on a hierarchical structure for so long. There was the Pope, that, there was somebody that was above us in our connection. There was a president. There was always layers upon layers of management and structures and people, leadership. And I feel that this is collapsing now because it never worked for the big people down here. However, so as we're seeing this, it's collapsing and it's going to go circular. But that top is like you're the top, and you're now in the center of the circle, and you're realizing those around you all have different perspectives, different points on the circle, but it's always moving. And you're getting to experience this, and the judgment disappears, or thinking someone else is your leader goes away, right? That you realize you have the power. You have the guidance, whatever you want to call it. It's coming through you. And the gift to give yourself is to realize that's your superpower. That's your ability to go, everybody's saying, go that way, but you're feeling guided to go this way. And that you have the courage to follow your inner guidance, because it's perfect for you. It's perfect for every single person. The question is, can we still hear it? Maybe it's been that distant voice or distant feeling, and now we're waking up to it, and we're seeing it, and we're going, wow, this is exciting. If it's in me, I can count on what I'm feeling.
So you have the power to create your own life. And if you give, or you gave in the past, that power to someone, it was kind of a negative choice for you. That does more harm than good for you and for the other. And also, if you feel you have to help a lot, be careful, because sometimes it's kind of, I am superior and I know more, and and the one that needs help is inferior. They are not. They are not inferior. We are all this in the same level. We have all the same resources. We have all the same connection to source, or to whatever you call it. So if you try to do everything for the other person, what are you doing to him? Not empowering. It's not empowering for them. You may be forcing them, or they may accept with joy, but it's not empowering for them. And they are a full being with full resources. So they are giving their power away to you. It's not good for you, and it's not good for them. So release, cut lots of strings that you may have to others, even if it is to help, because they have full power. And some people get lost in the story and they don't understand they have the power, and they don't know how to get their energy from the origin, from the source origin, and they try to get their energy from people around. Mm-hmm. They suck you. Okay, but you give that permission. Because nothing happens to you that you don't allow it. So if you feel someone is draining you, okay, you can cut that. It depends on you, because they can be draining you. They can be taking your energy or some of your energy, but somehow you allowed it.
Mm-hmm. That is such a important lesson that I had to learn, because there was a point where I was those people that were taking so-called my energy that were coming to me and feeling better, and I was feeling tired. I did want to blame them, in the sense of, oh, they're the bad ones. I mean, a lot of my life, I did do that I was still playing the victim, even though I was so-called spiritual, right? I was still thinking, oh, I'm so empathetic. I'm they're just taking it, those energy vampires. Like, do you hear the drama?
I had it in my life. We know why are we talking? Because we lots of those things. Yeah, I never felt a victim until until I understood I was being a victim. But who was victimizing me? Me. It was me that I was allowed to be a victim when I thought that I am a healer. I am a healer. I am here to help people heal. But I have this obligation because that poor people cannot do anything for themselves, or they are so weak. I need to help. And I thought I was doing good helping people until I understood, yes, sometimes I do good, but sometimes I don't, because when it becomes an obligation and it's heavy, it's not good. And why is it heavy? It was me that, how can I say? Sometimes it's a codependency. You have someone that is very frail. It depends on your health, and you wish to help, but you wake up, wake up. If you feel it is an obligation, it is a codependency. You are depending to. You are allowing yourself to be the healer, but you are being a victim too of yourself, of your decisions too.
Mm-hmm.
So wake up. It took me years and years and years because I thought other things. I could be hurt, I could be, but I was being helping. So when I was being helping, I was being a good person, doing good. And then I understand, okay, but it's too much. I can't help in a sound way, not forcing, not being exhausted, not blah, blah, blah. You name it.
Yeah, and that I feel is it kind of like, if we have to do a linear thing, but it's like a stage that
Yeah.
each of us has to grow through. It's like, this is the real education as our life experiences. And when I realize, like, so if I go somewhere now and somebody says to me, hey, like, I was in one store and they're like, oh, I just realized you're not wearing a mask. And I said, I know. And that's how I said it too. I said, I know. And he said, do you need one? And I said, no. And he said, oh, you're exempt? And I'm like, and I didn't say anything. I just did the meme. And he's like, okay. And so there were a few other people around me, and they were saying, you seem very happy. And I'm like, I know. And I said, how are you feeling? And they're like, well, I said, do you like wearing the mask? And they said, these two people, young people, and they said, no, but it's better than getting COVID. And I said, so what does so are you scared of getting COVID? And they're like, yes. And I said, so what do you feel like to be scared in your body? And the one gentleman says, oh, I'm so depressed. I feel so hopeless. And I said, how do you think your immune system works when it's feeling depressed and hopeless?
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at her and they looked at each other and they said, oh, probably not very good. And I was wearing like a shawl at the time. So when I was doing this, so I was like, and what do you think my immune system feels like? and he said, probably pretty good. And I said, so if I come across COVID, do you think my immune system is going to help better than your immune system the way you're feeling right now? And he said, probably. And I said, yeah, I used to feel the way you do. And I realized this feels better. And I realize when I feel this way and I share this, other people feel better. So that's all I'm here to do, is send out these positive vibes. And if it helps you, great. And if you want to stand, 2 meters away from me, great. And if you need a hug, great, right? Like I'm just doing what I feel guided to do. And I trust that every single person is they're in the right space, because I know how long it took me to think differently, to feel differently, to notice things differently, it was a journey, right? It was a journey. And each time I was judging my own self and thinking, oh, I'll keep working on me. And even that was a pattern, right? And I'll keep helping people because I feel good, as you said, Mina, right? I feel good if I'm helping. And then I realized, well, that's a pattern. I'm really helping people so I feel better, instead of just trusting when to be quiet. And other times I go in and I never say anything to anybody. I just smile and, I'm sending them love. And there's never a conversation about a mask or not mask, right? So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is I never do anything really the same way. Each day is different. And I now have the faith to trust what I'm guided, and the forgiveness in myself to know that I so-called make mistakes. I do things this way and maybe later I have to do them differently, because I realize, ooh, let's do that differently, right?
Yeah. And it was very good for the couple to wear the mask, because if they felt like it, yes, they needed the mask. Okay, if you are unsure, please use the mask,
Yeah.
because if you are unsure, you are receptive to illness. So please use the mask. I also wear the mask many times, even when I feel I don't need it, because if I go to a supermarket, well, there is an obligation there. But even so, if I am with other person and those persons feel the mask is needed, I don't wish to bother them. I don't wish to make them even worse. So, in respect for them, I use the mask, not for me, but for them, because I don't I don't wish to be because of them feeling even worse. But if I feel unsafe for some reason, I will respect my feelings. If I feel I'm completely well and safe, and so why bother? I don't need that. And we are here. We are doing? What are you doing? What are we doing here? Yes, we are trying to help, but it's not that trying to help. Not, how can I say it? Not an obligation. We are here for fun. We are having fun. We are doing good for each other, for us, and we are not invading your house, because if you don't like it, you turn off and don't see us. But if you wish to play with us, you are much welcome, and maybe you like it. and maybe it's good for you, as it is good for you, for us. Oh my English! I don't speak English except with you once a week, so uh, my
And
tongue is rusty.
well, when you said, it's like, I love coming to do this with you, right? For me, this is the experience. If somebody's watching this, fab. And if it's helping them, wonderful. I feel like the vibe shifts, the change in just connecting here with you. And that's really my experience. And I feel, again, when we just stay in the now, then this is the experience. And if this experience, because we can record it, can now be seen by others, and it helps them whether it's today or 10 years from now, wonderful, right? I'm doing it because I'm guided to do it, and it brings me joy.
Yes, and if you know anything about quantum physics, and you believe it, and you don't need to believe it because it is proven, scientifically proven.
Mhm.
We both, we are raising energy. We are raising our energy, and when we raise our energy is like uh, sound. It's like light. It goes everywhere.
Mhm.
So when I raise my energy, I am raising the energy of the world. When we raise our energy, we are raising the energy of the world. So we feel, at least I feel, I think you do, we are here in a mission because we love to raise the energy of the world, and because that is good for everyone that wishes to raise the energy too. Mm,
Hmm. And and that's the idea that we're still, the world is within us, in the sense, if our vibration or our space or our joy or our health is rippling out there, and the planet is like a big body, and each of us is like a little cell in the body, then it only takes a little bit of an ember, right? When you're lighting a fire, you just take a little spark, and it starts, and the fire grows, and there's a flame, right? Then it could be a big fire. And I'm just going to use we've had a lot of big fires over the world, like Australia last year, we were all praying for rain, right? California has had big fires, and somehow that started with a tiny little spark. And if you are that spark, what are you sparking in the world? And if you could realize, wherever you are in the world, that you have that power to hold that spark and create and be unattached, that maybe you go and you meet somebody on the street or something, and you share a smile, and that smile, right, those random acts of kindness, we've seen that since the 80s. Random acts of kindness, someone pays for your coffee, or someone carried your groceries, and then they feel better, and they go home, and they're nicer to their spouse, they treat their children. Like, that's the ripple effect. We have no idea the impact of one thought that we have, because it is a ripple effect. So if I trust myself, and I believe everybody else is doing exactly what they need to do, as we're transforming, as the world is awakening, that's freedom. To me, that's freedom. Everybody is in the right place at the right time in order for the healing to happen. Mina, in the body, right? Like, you can take a scan or do a test, and it
yeah,
can show something, but the person saying to you, I feel fine, right? And it's that sense of, well, which is the truth, right? And working in that situation is the person that that's feeling fine is actually in the process of healing. It's like a detox. Sometimes the icky stuff comes out of our body, so we're healing better.
Mhm. And sometimes they just aren't aware of what is happening in their body and what is happening in their mind and in their feelings. So many people, that's why I don't watch the news
Yeah.
because news are not exempt. In this moment, they, well, they wish to win, to keep
Push.
attention of the persons, and they choose everything they say and they show to keep attention of focus on the persons, and they are not exempt, and they exaggerate, and they, well, I will not speak of that, but there are so many people in the world that are worrying, that are uh, you know you know
Yeah.
lots of feelings of the many people. What feelings do they have? What thoughts do they have? Are good thoughts that suit them and make them happier? Usually not. So I think someone has or can choose to balance it a little bit. And we are choosing to balance it. So many negative thoughts. So we are choosing happy thoughts for us and for you.
Yes.
Mm.
I think I stopped watching the news like in the 90s, and I've watched more news this past year than I have like in 30 years.
Mm.
And it's interesting because I remember my former husband, he would say he's watching things because he wanted to know what they're doing.
Oh,
And I, again, like the light worker, would be like, no, 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 you know, I can't watch that because I could feel it, and I couldn't quite respect. I couldn't that he could see it differently because I was always the one absorbed in the drama, right? I couldn't get that he was able to see it differently. And now this year, as I've been watching more news than I ever have, I am seeing it like as outside. Like, this is, wow, this is amazing, the influence. And that's what I say is everybody has a right time or right place or is doing the right thing, because this is an inside journey.
mhm.
Healing happens, the mind and the body, we're all connected. The soul, this is our experience of healing.
Yeah.
And yeah, truthfully, I've done a lot of like, wow, I see myself 20 years ago and saying the judgments that I had back then, and then coming to forgiveness with myself about those judgments that I had, about thinking I knew what was
Yeah.
best. And that then gave me more freedom, because I never knew that I actually had this in me until I had a different experience.
I usually don't see the news, don't watch the news. Um, and I say my patients not to watch the news
Yeah.
because everything that is important, you get to know it. You get to, someone will tell you, you know it.
Yeah.
So you don't. My father or my husband sometimes they love to watch the news, and they watch them 30 times a day, the same news. So you don't need that. You
Right.
can one. Okay, one is enough. So sometimes I pass near the TV and I get the news, and I just, okay, I have to hear this, and I will send my love and my best wishes and my peace to that place. Okay, fine, it's enough. But I tell my patients, I usually tell, don't watch the news because why? Because of course they do what they wish. We never force anyone. But I tell them, if you are sick, if you are ill, something is not very good with you, with your energy. You are sensitive. Something is disrupted. And it's like a barrier that was broken. A barrier of your energy as a leak or something.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a hole in your energy, for just figure it that, and you are watching news that affect you negatively, they will harm you.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that, you are sick, and you'll become sicker because that energy will not be useful for you usually. So it's like that. If you are strong, if you are healthy, if you are whole, feeling whole, okay, you can watch the news and give them your blessings. I knew, I think it was Deepak Chopra that said that his mother and his grandmother used to go every morning to the temple, and of course they would watch the news and then they would pray for the situations. Okay, fine, awesome. But if you are sick, if you are sad, if you are feeling round, don't listen to the news.
Yeah.
At least don't listen to the news that affect you, uh, that make you go down. Yes, because I hope, I pray that there are good news because every day lots of kids are born and they are beautiful, and lots of people is healthy and wealthy and whatever. Every day there are lots of good news, but they usually choose the best news. So
And I will clarify that. So I listen to the news of our island. So our island will report things like there was a bird that nested in the parking lot of the grocery store.
oh,
Our thing will also report, they do have their updates on the situation, but they report that a seal made its way inland, an 800-pound seal, and the police had to try and get it, coach it back in towards the ocean. So we have
these are good news.
different stories on the island, and the reason I listen is because it's this a little bit of connection to know what others are thinking, what's happening, but it's very different than being in Toronto or New York and listening to the main newscast. So the main cast, the newscast,
Yeah.
no. But the main newscast for this island tends to have it still has a bit of the story, and you can see how it gets formulated, but there's lots of stories about how people are changing lives or coming together to help the community.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But most journalists, they learn at school. Good news are no news.
Yeah.
So they choose drama and drama and drama. So 95% of news may be drama. And the other part exists too, but they don't tell it because they don't attract audiences. So it, it's that we are talking about that. I myself, I don't judge if it's good or bad, but it's important for you to know if it's good for you or bad for you, if it is pleasant for you or it makes you harm.
Mm-hmm.
That is important because good or bad, it's judgment too, of course, but try to understand if it is useful for you.
Mm-hmm.
What what is the utility of listening to lots of drama news? Are you going there to help? Okay, fine. Go there and help. Are you doing nothing? What are you helping? What are you creating except another person that went in the drama? And that with years it reflects on your body. It's called chronic stress. It
Yeah.
makes you dizzy. It lowers your immunity. Then you can get COVID or anything else. So choose well. Choose anything that serves you, that raises your energy, that makes you happy and healthy.
Yes. And and also when you choose, sometimes I find that with those that I work with, it's like they they start to think differently, right? So they start to do more things that bring them joy, and they feel the difference. And then it's like, let's say, I'm going to use smoking as an example. Let's say it's like the person who quits smoking. They quit their habit, and then they are in one place and they feel like having a cigarette. So the person picks up their old habit, and then then they go into a whole drama about making themselves wrong, about, oh, I shouldn't have done this, I know better, blah, 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 blah. And then they get so down on themselves
Yeah,
that they're downward spiraling. And I like to say, hold on, that's just your experience. That's your experience to see. You went back to the habit, and then the habit is now you've got judgment, and now you're blaming yourself, and now and you're downward spiraling. Do you want to keep that experience? That's just the experience. If you can just keep focused on the now and how you're feeling, as Mina's saying, what are you feeling? What is your body feeling? And if it's bringing you joy and love and better feelings that make you feel better, then consider leaning into that. And if they're contracting you and making you scared or judgmental or blaming or shaming or guilt, then consider going, okay, I've had enough of that experience. It
yeah,
may be even like you have a favorite shirt in your closet that you've had for 30 years, and it has such sweet memories for you, and you're thinking maybe you'll fit in it again, or maybe there'll be the right occasion to wear it. Then there's the thought that says, no, I think it's time to let it go. It's been sitting there for 30 years. I haven't worn it in 10 years. Maybe someone else could get a benefit from it. But you go to the closet, and every time you go to the closet to get rid of it, you're still like, oh, but maybe. That's just your experience. That's just your experience. And if you can stay out of the wrong or right, then you're just noticing the attachment. You're noticing the emotions. You're noticing what you're noticing. And that becomes freedom because you're experiencing it versus somebody else saying, just get rid of it. You have more than 30 years. Just, you'll feel better. Well, maybe you won't feel better,
mhm.
right? Only you know what makes you feel good, like happy, joyous.
So everything you say, it's not for you to do. No, it's a suggestion because those are things that we experience and they were good for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we are giving you them, but you are your own master. And you can choose if you apply them or not, or when you apply them. And it's all right. It's like that. There's not an obligation. That is something that we offer you, and you accept it or not, as you wish, as it suits you or not. And what you said, Jacqueline, about the quitting smoking. If you if you are able to quit smoking just like that, awesome. but if you have to take one cigarette once in a while, please don't judge yourself, because it is that judgment that you are doing wrong that harms you. More than the cigarette is the judgment. It's you criticizing yourself. It's you hurting yourself with your thoughts. So if you fall down, okay, accept it, love yourself, and
Mhm.
you can say, next time I'll do better.
Yeah.
I keep going. I love myself for this this fall.
Yeah, just reframe it to think of a little child learning to walk. If the first time they fell down, they went, oh, guess it's not supposed to happen for me, right? Trust the process. Love your life. Mina and I are just sharing our experiences, and if it helps, great. And if you think, then great. It's all great.
And maybe you have just have a wonderful, funny time with us, moving a bit. And
Yeah.
that's great too.
Maybe you
So
didn't hear anything we said. You've got the volume down, but you're just moving with us.
it was good for the circulation. So I leave you with my love.
Adios.
Adios.
Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.
Amore.